Welcome to Little Bobby Duncan's Palace of Pleasure and Art. Actually, we call it Casa de Cuba Tropical. I'm making the bar inside, covering it with bamboo, and it's pretty lush here. The backyard is overgrown with ivy and stuff, and there's a little creek out back, and it's a great place to live and work. I just noticed your shoes. My friend calls the little creek out back the Missouri River because it's so tiny. We have wild grapes growing in the trees. Hector, I dare you to try to eat me tuna.
Okay. I'm going to go up close.
All the teeth are stones from the beach.
Thank you.
And the spines are bamboo chopsticks that are carved.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. This is the deck out here. On the trailer itself is about 475 square feet or something like that. So it's not a lot of space. And I have a painting studio. It's a 2-bedroom trailer. And I have a painting studio that's in the front bedroom with a skylight. So and I can do work in there in the wintertime or when the weather's bad. But when the weather is milder, I love working outdoors here because I've got the trees in the background, and I can smell the wild grapes. Yeah, it smells delicious out here when I'm working. But I can work, you know, from the early spring till the late fall, and sometimes during the winter out here on sculpture and stuff. And I like that out here because I don't have to worry about the dust getting in everything inside. And then I can just sweep or vacuum this area out. But for right now, I've got this little table, and I'm working on a sea serpent that is carved out of a chunk of wood that's got to be 150 years old. It was a beam in a building in California. When the building was torn down, one of the demolition people offered me this chunk of wood, and it's a beautiful piece of fir. And I carried it with me for 10 years before I started carving it with a mallet and a chisel. And now I've got it to where I'm carving the detail, putting the scales, and there's going to be teeth. This is the head of the sea serpent, and the body, one of the feet, the tail. And for the teeth, the wood is very brittle, so I couldn't carve small teeth in there. So I'm going to use a deer antler for the main large tooth, and then a bunch of small stones collected in my beachcombing trips at the ocean. For teeth, and then it's going to be finished to natural wood finish, maybe a little stain if I want the wood a little darker, but for right now I'm just trying to make these scales, which I've been carving, be pretty smooth. And this is probably going to take another month or more to finish, but one thing I've learned on a project like this is that patience is what it's all about. That I want this to be as beautiful as it can be, and I'm not in any rush to finish it. I mean, it would be nice to sell it and get some money and pay the rent, but my main goal with this is to make it as beautiful and I want it to be exactly what I envisioned, which is a beautiful wooden sea serpent. So here I am filing away, and it's a bit like meditation, sitting out here with these little files and working on these scales on the sea serpent.
Okay, red light's on.
Okay. And when I'm out here working, there's a little bit of lawn with some weeds and clover and stuff, and woods out back, and there's a woodchuck that comes out of the woods, and he's really fat and fuzzy. He looks like he's eating well, and I'm not making a lot of noise out here, and he'll come wandering through the yard, and I can see him right there eating the heads off of the clover. He's doing very well, and I was trying to think of a name for him because I saw him almost every day, And I was talking to a friend of mine in California, a biologist, and he said, well, you should call him Chewy. So the woodchuck's name is Chewy, and I haven't seen him now this week, but as big as he is, I don't imagine anything's bothered him because he's gotten very large and healthy. And maybe he's making a den for the winter, I don't know. But Chewy is one of the few regular animals I see around here. Hear the sound that makes? It's great. You can see why the Indians used wood, big logs for drums, because they have such a nice sound to them.
Oh, that makes me think of something.
Oh, yeah?
You know, beating on a dead horse.
Uh-huh.
You think if you typed into the search engine, you know, dead horse music, right?
Yeah.
If maybe somebody's done it.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
Probably.
I'll bet.
Now, if I make a mistake, you'll hear the curse, too. Because this wood is so brittle, you know, it's so old that it tends to, wherever there's like a crack in the wood, it sometimes, I'll be carving and a bigger piece will come off than I intend. And I've actually glued part of the tail back on. There was a chunk that came off right here. That I glued back on because I wanted to have enough of a tail to, I'm going to put a wooden piece on there. And the tip of the tongue here came off. This little piece right here came off. And I immediately glued it back on, and I'm using really good wood glue so that it's not going to come loose again. And I think there was another piece, but there are some things I can't cover up by filing them away. So I've got to, if it's a big enough piece, I got to glue it back on because I don't want this to be like some kind of old Greek sculpture that has the arms missing or anything. I want this to be entirely a wooden sea serpent.
That's pretty cool too.
Let's see if I can. It's an intaglio print. The Lord High Mayor. This is my Halloween mask helmet that I made last year. Goes with a sport coat that has metal plates riveted to it. And I call myself a quasi-goth when I go out. It's like a Visigoth, except only half so. And this is one of the things I keep in my studio. Also, these are the stones that I'm going to use for the teeth on my dragon. I've been collecting them on the beach, and some of them look a lot more like teeth than others. But I figure I'll find what I need in here. So that's what I do when I'm beachcombing.